Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's an absolute pleasure to welcome you all to the insightful awareness program on ESG and sustainable business practices for MSMEs. Today, we gather not just as professionals, entrepreneurs, and industry leaders, but as change makers shaping a sustainable future. With that note, can we all hear it from you? A very huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, for ourselves for making it today. Thank you very much. So, awareness program on ESG and sustainable business practices for MSMEs, organized by FICCI, Center for Sustainability Leadership, the founding members, Hindustan Unilever Limited, HSBC, and supported by COCDC and TANSIA. Thank you very much. In a world where businesses are no longer measured by profits, environmental, social, and governance, which is called as ESG, the principles have become the cornerstone of responsible and resilient growth. For micro, small, and medium enterprises, MSMEs, embracing sustainability is not just an option. It's an opportunity to thrive in a dynamic global landscape. This session is designed to equip you with the knowledge, strategies, and tools needed to integrate ESG practices into your business, ensuring long-term success while making a positive impact on society and the environment. So let's embark on this wonderful journey together, learning, sharing, and paving the way for a more sustainable and responsible business ecosystem. Without further ado, let's begin. So I would like to welcome our chairman, FICCI Tamil Nadu State Council and CMD Trivitron Healthcare, Newberg Diagnostics Group of Companies, Dr. GSK Velu, onto the dais with a very huge round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. Welcome, sir. We'd also like to welcome Shri Hans Raj Verma, Director General, COCDC, Chairman of ITCAT Limited. Welcome, sir. I'd like to welcome Shri S. Suresh Babuji, Director, MSME DFO GOI. Welcome, sir. I would also like to welcome Shri C.K. Mohan, President, TANSIA. Welcome, sir. I would also like to welcome our co-chairman, FICCI Tamil Nadu State Council and CMD, Indra Group of Companies, Shri Bhupesh Nagarajan. Welcome, sir. I request our chairman, Dr. GSK Velu, to present the bouquet to Shri Hans Raj Verma, the Director General, COCDC, Chairman of ITCAT Limited. May I now request our co-chairman, Shri Bhupesh Nagarajan, to present the bouquet to Shri S. Suresh Babuji, Director, MSME DFO GOI. Thank you, sirs. So as I already said, without further ado, let's begin the program. And may I now request our chairman, FICCI Tamil Nadu State Council and CMD Trivitron Healthcare, Newberg Diagnostic Group of Companies, Dr. GSK Velu, to present the welcome address. With a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, sir.
Vanakkam, and a very good afternoon to everyone gathered here. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this awareness program on ESG and sustainable business practices for MSMEs hosted by FICCI Tamil Nadu State Council. We are truly honored to have with us an esteemed group of dignitaries on stage today, leaders who have consistently championed the cause of responsible growth and inclusive development. I extend my heartfelt welcome and appreciation to Shri Hansraj Verma, Director General, COCDC and Chairman of ITCAT Limited, an inspiring leader who has played a transformative role in strengthening the MSME ecosystem in Tamil Nadu and across India. Thank you, sir. Shri S. Suresh Babuji, Director MSME DFO, Government of India, whose guidance continues to shape progressive MSME policies rooted in sustainability and resilience. Shri C.K. Mohan, President TANSITA, who represents the dynamic voice of our industrial community and has been instrumental in driving collaborative growth across sectors. Sri Bhupesh Nagarajan, Co-Chairman FICCI Tamil Nadu State Council and CMD Indira Group, an entrepreneur who embodies the balance between business excellence and social commitment. We are also joined by an excellent panel of experts who will lead today's discussion and shed light on the evolving landscape of ESG in the MSME sector. This program comes at a time when the world is undergoing a fundamental shift. Sustainability is no longer a slogan, it is a survival strategy. It is also a pathway to leadership for India and especially for Tamil Nadu. What makes this event truly important is its focus on MSMEs, the lifeblood of our economy. For generations, our ancestors respected nature not only as a source of resources but as a sacred trust. They built lives around seasons, sustainability, and stewardship, ensuring that the future would inherit a better world. As Thiruvalluvar said, "Irayandru iyelum iyarkai sirappin varayendrathu vaanam peyin." When nature's balance is preserved, prosperity flows from the skies. This ancient wisdom is more relevant than ever because today we face the consequences of imbalance, climate events, polluted ecosystems, water scarcity, and a growing social divide. And yet, we are also in a moment of opportunity. India is showing the way forward. We are the third largest producer of renewable energy in the world. We are building solar parks, green hydrogen hubs, and circular economy models that the world is watching closely. The Life Cycle for Environment, launched during our G20 presidency, is a powerful reminder that sustainable transformation begins with individual and institutional action. And Tamil Nadu is leading from the front with the highest installed wind power capacity in India, with model policies on electric mobility and green industrial corridors, and with thriving MSME clusters that are already adopting energy efficient and eco-conscious practices. In many ways, Tamil Nadu is poised to become a global case study in sustainable industrialization. But this journey is not complete without the full participation of MSMEs. MSMEs are not just small businesses, they are big opportunities. They employ over 110 million people, contribute nearly a third of India's GDP, and form the foundation of our exports, innovation, and regional development. By adopting ESG practices, MSMEs can improve access to international markets where sustainability is non-negotiable, build trust among consumers, partners, and investors, reduce operational costs through resource efficiency, attract ESG-aligned financing, and future-proof their business against regulatory and environmental risks. Take, for example, a small unit in Tirupur that switched to zero liquid discharge and adapted solar drying. It didn't just cut costs, it secured a multi-year deal with a European buyer who values clean and ethical sourcing. That's the power of ESG, that is a future we must scale. As Thiruvalluvar said, "Payan தூக்கி பார்த்து செயல் வேண்டும் செய்பவர் நயன் தூக்கா தன்னின் இழுக்கு." The wise weigh the benefits before they act. The unwise act without foresight and face setbacks. At FICCI Tamil Nadu State Council, we are committed to supporting MSMEs on this journey, not just through awareness but through action, through access to tools, mentorship, financing, and collaborative network that help businesses integrate ESG seamlessly into their operation. Today's program is part of that journey, a space where policymakers, businesses, and experts come together to share, learn, and lead. Let me end with another profound verse from Thirukural. "Iyarkai enapaduvathu yadenin olukam adanai valipadam veedu." What is nature? It is righteousness. When we follow that path, we reach true purpose. Let us honor that path. Let us become not only the fastest growing economy, but the most responsibly growing economy. Let Tamil Nadu's MSMEs not just compete globally, but inspire globally. I wish each one of you an engaging, insightful session ahead. And more importantly, I urge you to leave this room today with the resolve to take at least one substantial step in your own organization towards ESG compliance and sustainable growth. Nandri, Vanakkam, Jai Hind.
Thank you very much, sir, for the warm and elaborate welcome address. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's an absolute honor to welcome a distinguished leader, a visionary policymaker, and an exemplary civil servant, Shri Hans Raj Verma, retired IAS. With a remarkable career in public service, Mr. Hans Raj Verma has made significant contributions to governance, industrial development, and entrepreneurship in Tamil Nadu. As the additional Chief Secretary and Chairman and Managing Director of Tamil Nadu Industrial Investment Corporation, he played a pivotal role in fostering economic growth, supporting MSMEs, and driving industrial investment in the state. His dedication to sustainable development and business innovation has left a lasting impact, making him a respected figure in both administrative and business circles. We are privileged to have him here today to share his valuable insights and experiences. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Shri Hansraj Verma, who is the Director General, COSIDC, and Chairman of ITCOT Limited. With a round of applause.
Chairman FICCI Tamil Nadu, Co-Chairman FICCI Tamil Nadu, Head of TANSTIA, Head of MSME DI, and distinguished delegates for this event. Friends, this event is an outcome of a partnership at the national level between FICCI and COSIDC. What is COSIDC and what is the organization that does on a pan-Indian level? COSIDC is Section 8 company. It's an apex body, the Council of the State Finance Corporations and the State Industrial Investment Corporations. It's got about 70 members across India. We have memberships from Tamil Nadu, TIC, SIPCOT, SIDCO, TN FAME. Similarly, we have members from Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Orissa, across India. The mandate of COSIDC is to enhance the competitiveness of the MSMEs through its member constituents, the state finance corporations who lend to the MSMEs, and the state industrial development corporations which provide the infrastructure support to the MSMEs. Why are MSMEs important for India? In today's geopolitical context, turbulent times for India, for the world, India has to establish itself as a manufacturing hub. For any country to be called a developed nation, manufacturing has to be a minimum of 25% of the GDP. For India, it's only 16% today. We moved from agriculture to service economy, bypassing the manufacturing. But today is the time, India's time in the sun, to reclaim its pride of place, its position, pole position as a manufacturing hub. The geopolitical context, the strategic location in the Indo-Pacific, all point that India can emerge as that hub for manufacturing for the world. Atmanirbhar India, make in India, make for the world. And who will propel this? The MSMEs, who are the backbone of the industrial bedrock of India. Now, if MSMEs have to be relevant in modern times, then they have to negotiate the emerging trends. They cannot be in isolation. They cannot rest on past laurels, past knowledge or past practices. If they want to be relevant in today's geopolitical context, to be part of the global supply chains, be important members, important vendors for their OEMs, then they must know what are the trends. It's very heartening to see this hall full of entrepreneurs and MSMEs, owners. This shows the thought leadership of Tamil Nadu. Tamil Nadu has always been a thought leader. It is but appropriate that the first of this series of meetings, such meetings, awareness programs, which we propose to hold across India in various states, has started with Tamil Nadu. Again, the thought leadership of Tamil Nadu. And MSMEs, progressive MSMEs is a name synonymous with Tamil Nadu. But even our MSMEs have to now start negotiating the VUCA world. Volatile, uncertain, complex and ambiguous. This budget, in the union budget 25-26, for the export promotion, they have an outlay of 2,500 crores. And of that, a substantial portion will go for educating, sensitizing, and preparing our MSMEs for negotiating the non-trade measures, the NTMs. What are these NTMs? The first and foremost is CBAM, Cross-Border Adjustment Mechanism of European Union, which says if your product, say a simple nut made by an MSME, which is being supplied either to OEM or exported, is not as per my standards, then I will levy an additional tax. We need to reduce the carbon footprint of our products. And the second NTM, the non-trade measure, is EUDR, European Union Deforestation Rules, which says that any product sourced from a forest that has been degraded will attract an enhanced levy or a ban. Now these two, CBAM and EUDR, are just a few which can impact the export performance of India, the export performance of the MSCs, whether it's leather, textiles, auto, any sector. Hence, such programs are extremely important for sensitizing the MSMEs that you have partners, you have stakeholders like FICCI, COCDC, institutions like TIC, SIDCO in Tamil Nadu, which will handhold you and guide you to negotiate these emerging trends, give you that capacity building so that you are ready to negotiate and continue to be part of the global supply chains. Today, with the China plus one factor, Indian MSMEs and Indian industry across India have got a huge opportunity. It is up to us to seize this opportunity by being prepared with these new emerging trends, by future-proofing ourselves, and then negotiating these trends and capitalizing on the opportunities. Recently, the State Bank of India has started an exercise under which it has started to assess the loans made to the industry, the MSME sector, and assessing the green risk in those loans. SEBI has got this business responsibility, sustainability rules, BRSR, for the top 1,000 listed companies on the Bombay Stock Exchange. But for most of these companies, the vendors, the global supply chain is the MSMEs. So if these MSMEs, these big industries have to comply with these norms of SEBI, then their value chain, the vendors, the supply chain has to also comply, which means that down to the last level, even the significant, the small vendor has to be compliant with these new norms. Collectively, they all contribute to the final product of the industry of the OEM. We also have the Scope 1, Scope 2, Scope 3 accounting standards of the World Sustainability Council, which measures and says that 80% of the carbon footprint of a product is in the supply chains, which means it's in the MSMEs. As Chairman FICCI was mentioning, sustainability is non-negotiable. Sustainability is no longer a luxury and an option. It is an imperative, it's a business necessity, something which we all have to embrace wholeheartedly and future proof our industries or investments. This applies both to the MSMEs at the field level as well as the institutions that are supporting them, particularly the state finance corporations like TEC, banks which lend to the MSMEs. When you lend them for a window of 7 years to 9 years, you have to ensure that your capital is safe by giving that yardstick to in the assessing of the loan applications, that this MSME unit is aware of these trends and is compliant or will be compliant in the due course of the statutory period is there. Only then the capital of the financial institutions can be optimally deployed, rotated for the development of Indian industry. RBI comes out frequently with regular reports, the climate risk reports. All these point to one factor, friends, that we have to build sustainability in our lives, sustainability in industrial operations, and those units that embrace sustainability will be the winners in this VUCA world. They are the ones who will be able to negotiate those trends and seize on the opportunities. So these kind of initiatives, as COCDC, we interact with various chambers of Congress in India. The strongest ESG framework, the strongest ESG institutional mechanism is available with FICCI. FICCI is extremely serious about sustainability. At their head office in Delhi, they have a very, very huge center with key resources, human resources. They're going to start a ESG certification program for the MSMEs in July, for the students, for the future employees. So these kind of initiatives of FICCI, in which COCDC will also partner by giving them the reach. COCDC's main strength is we have about 1 lakh of MSMEs with us, indirectly through our member constituents across India. And if India has to develop as a developed nation, as India marches towards the destiny of Viksit Bharat, a developed nation by 2047, then this development has to be all round across India. It is here states like Tamil Nadu have to give the thought leadership to other states. What Tamil Nadu does today, the other states follow tomorrow. And Honorable CM of Tamil Nadu has mentioned in his vision that to make Tamil Nadu a 1 trillion economy. This 1 trillion economy will be powered mainly by green energy. Tamil Nadu is blessed with wind, solar, combination of wind and solar. So this green manufacturing is going to be the key competitive advantage for competing on the world market. Along with your balance sheet, profit and loss statements, all MSMEs must have a metric for the ESG score, environmental social governance, in which it is whether it's water neutral, carbon footprints, biodiversity. Let me dwell upon biodiversity a bit. I am part of the National Biodiversity Authority Expert Committee for the industry interface. India is losing biodiversity at a very rapid pace, both floral and faunal. It is incumbent upon all of us collectively to do our bit for preserving this biodiversity. And Tamil Nadu is one of the richest states in biodiversity in India. So wherever the MSM is there across Tamil Nadu, please partner with the local civil society organizations, the NGOs of the Forest Department, and get on board the biodiversity conservation. Is it of interest to you that in the M.K. Ranjit Singh case versus Union of India, which is also called the Great Indian Bustard case, Supreme Court has mentioned very clearly, right to clean environment is a fundamental right today. What was the case? great Indian bustard is the national bird of Rajasthan. It spread only between Gujarat and Madhya Pradesh. About 200 left in the wild. The power companies were laying those power lines for evacuation of the solar power in the western part of Rajasthan. Now these birds can't fly very well and they get entangled with the power lines and fatalities there. Supreme Court very clearly, yes, we need green energy, solar power, but we also need to conserve our biodiversity. So all the companies must lay underground cables for evacuation of power. It's a very, very landmark judgment in the history of legal jurisprudence for environment and sustainability. This is the spirit, this is the support we are getting from the highest levels of the judiciary for sustainability. And more than the dual intervention, as our FICCI chairman was mentioning, sustainability, care for nature, he was quoting Thirukural, has to come from within. So the first step for sustainability is a step we take as individuals. Take that we will do whatever might for Project Life to conserve nature, protect environment. As we say, we inherit this earth for the next generations. It is duty of all of us collectively to preserve this mandate. So friends, I thank FICCI for this partnership. This is first of the partnerships which COCDC will have across India. Spread this message, and I like to thank TANSTIA President Mr. Mohan, Mr. Babuji, our thought leaders. We will use their expertise, their wisdom, their thought leaderships for taking this message across India so that rest of India can benefit from this partnership. Friends, once again, sustainability is the key to future-proof our ventures, our investments, our business. It is non-negotiable. As Chairman was mentioning, you will have very, very rich takeaways from the eminent speakers, plus a very, very eminent panel is there after this, which will guide you that what you must do. Sustainability is not one-off, that it stops with the seminar. It is a continual endeavor on a daily basis by all of us. Sustainability is something which will propel Tamil Nadu on the world stage, and following Tamil Nadu's example, propel India on the world stage and enable India to find its place in the Committee of Nations confidently as a responsible nation which is committed to net zero by 2070, as a committed nation which protects its environment and which is a thought leader for the rest of the world. Thank you and good day.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for saying that sustainability is not one-off and it is a continuous endeavor. It makes sense and we will definitely follow it. What an inspiring and insightful inaugural address we just had. On behalf of everyone, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to you, sir, for setting the perfect tone for today's session. And your vast experience, vision, and leadership continues to guide and inspire us, and entrepreneurs, the policymakers, and the change makers alike. We truly appreciate the time and wisdom you have shared with us, sir. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor and privilege I introduce our esteemed keynote speaker, Shri S. Suresh Babuji, the Director of MSME, DFO, Government of India. With an unwavering commitment to the growth and empowerment of micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, Shri Suresh Babuji has been the forefront of policy implementation, innovation and sustainable business development. His expertise and leadership have played a crucial role in fostering entrepreneurship, enabling MSMEs to scale new heights and ensuring their competitiveness in a rapidly evolving economic landscape. Today, as he delivers the keynote address, we look forward to gaining valuable insights into the future of MSMEs, the role of sustainability, and the government's initiative in driving inclusive economic growth. Ladies and gentlemen, let's extend a warm welcome to Shri S. Suresh Babuji. Welcome, sir.
Respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon to all of you. It's a wonderful occasion that I've been invited by FICCI, and it is also another occasion that I'm meeting my earlier secretary, our MSME secretary, Ansraj Verma AS. Regarding this, our Ministry of MSME, Government of India, we are at making a policy and programs for the development of MSME. Why? Because already it's narrated that our values are MSME gives employment around 210 million jobs. Just now, after introduction of Udyam registration in 2020, July, now it has been crossed around 5 crore MSMEs being registered in India. So, we are helping, assisting MSMEs to develop themselves, produce themselves, good product quality, and also marketing their products. Regarding sustainable development, we implement Z certification. That is zero defect and zero effect. There are 20 parameters. It is being categorized 3 certificates, 3 medals, 3 maturity levels. One is a bronze medal, another is silver, another is gold medal. So these things, when you cross these parameters, including this ISO 18,000 environmental things. Earlier, our ministry was introducing ODS scheme, ozone depleting substances. Now it has been given as Z certification. It encompasses, as I told, 20 parameters, including ISO, many things are there. We at MSME, guiding the entrepreneurs and making them sustainable throughout their life of production. And here, MSME is a buzzword. Today, sustainability also become a buzzword. Both have to travel like our two eyes, one hand in hand. அப்படி ஒரு நிலைமை நமக்கு வந்திருக்கோம். சார் அன்சரா சார் சொன்னார், எல்லாத்தையும் அவர் சொன்னார். எவ்ரிதிங் ஹி ஹஸ் டோல்டு. இன்றைக்கி என்ன இந்த செமினாரில் நடக்க போதோ கம்ப்ளீட் ஹி ஹஸ் டோல்டு. அதுபோல் எப்படி நம்ம டெல்லி மெட்ரோ கார்பன் சர்டிஃபிகேட், கார்பன் கிரெடிட் சர்டிஃபிகேட் நிறையா வாங்கியிருக்காங்க. வாங்கினதை அதை விற்கிறாங்க. அப்பு நெட் ஜீரோ எஃபெக்ட் கூட வந்துக்கிட்டு இருக்குது. நெட் ஜீரோ எஃபெக்ட் நிறையா வந்துக்கிட்டு இருக்குது. நிறைய கார்பன் ஃபுட் பிரிண்ட்ஸ் நிறைய பேர் வந்துக்கிட்டு இருக்காங்க. இது கம்பல்சரி ஆக போகுது. ஒரு காலத்தில் இது டெஃபினட்டாக எம்எஸ்எம்இனா இதையும் சேர்த்து வாங்கணும் அப்படின்ற ஒரு நிலைமை வந்துச்சுன்னா நமக்கு ரொம்ப கஷ்டமாக இருக்குன்னு சொல்லிட்டு தான் நிறைய ஸ்கீம்ஸை நாங்களும் இன்ட்ரடியூஸ் பண்ணிகிட்டு இருக்கோம். இப்போயும் கூட லீன் மேனுஃபேக்சரிங் டெக்னிக்கு, எம்எஸ்எம்இ லீன் மேனுஃபேக்சரிங் சொல்லிட்டு கன்சல்டன்சின்னு ஒரு ப்ரோக்ராம் மறைமேல் நகரில் பண்ணிட்டு வந்திருக்கோம். அவங்களுக்கு என்ன நடக்குதுன்னு ஒன்றுமே தெரிய மாட்டேங்குது. தே டு நாட் நோ வாட் இஸ் கோயிங் ஆன். எம்எஸ்எம்இஸ் ஆர் ஜஸ்ட் பேக் டோரில் தான் இருக்கிறாங்க. இன்னும் ஒரு நிறையா தெரிஞ்சுக்கிற அளவுக்கு அவங்க இல்லை. அதுக்காக தான் நாங்கள் நிறைய அவேர்னஸ் ப்ரோக்ராமு நிறையா பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருக்கோம். அதில் ஃபிக்கி பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருக்கோம். சாரோட ஹெட்கார்ட் கோஸ்டிமா சார் கோடிசி அதிலே சேர்ந்துக்கிட்டு நாங்கள் நிறையா பண்ணுறதுக்காக நிறைய ஏற்பாடுகள் செஞ்சுக்கிட்டு இருக்கோம். நெக்ஸ்ட் இயரில் சார் சொன்னபடி பட்ஜெட் அலோகேஷன் நிறையா பண்ணுறாங்க. இப்போ ரீசெண்டாக உங்களுக்கு தெரியும் 43BH இன்கம் டேக்ஸில் ஒரு ஆக்ட் வந்தது. 45 டேஸ்க்கு மேலே எம்எஸ்எம்இக்கு பேமெண்ட்டை ஹோல்டு பண்ணக்கூடாது. ஹோல்டு பண்ணால் உங்கள் ப்ராஃபிட்டில் அது புக் ஆகிடும், உங்கள் டேக்ஸில் அது புக் ஆகிடும்னு சொல்லியிருக்காங்க. ஸோ அது நிறையா டிலேடு பேமெண்ட்டு எம்எஸ்எம்இ ஆக்டில் டிலேடு பேமெண்ட்டை நிறுத்தணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நிறையா ஆக்ட் நிறையா கொண்டு வந்துக்கிட்டு இருக்கோம். அதே போல் பப்ளிக் ப்ரொக்யூர்மெண்ட் பாலிசின்னு ஒன்று இருக்குது, பொது கொள்முதல் கொள்கைன்னு. அதில் 25% பப்ளிக் செக்டர் யூனிட்ஸ் கண்டிப்பாக எம்எஸ்எம்இலேருந்து வாங்கணும் அப்படின்ற ஒரு கொள்கை இருக்குது. அதுலேயும் 4% ஃப்ரம் எஸ்சி/எஸ்டி என்டர்பிரினர்ஸ், 3% ஃப்ரம் விமன் என்டர்பிரினர்ஸ், அதுலேருந்து கண்டிப்பாக வாங்கணும் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு அதுலேயும் நிறைய பர்ச்சேஸ் ப்ரிஃபரன்ஸ் இருக்குது. 15% ப்ரைஸ் ப்ரிஃபரன்ஸ் இருக்குது. அப்புறம் இஎம்டி எக்ஸம்ஷன் இருக்குது. நீங்கள் எம்எஸ்எம்இயாக உத்தியம் ரெஜிஸ்ட்ரேஷன் சர்டிஃபிகேட் வாங்கியிருந்தீங்கன்னா உங்களுக்கு இஎம்டி எக்ஸம்ஷன் available. You need not pay EMD. That you can put it in your ஒர்க்கிங் கேபிட்டல் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டு நிறையா பண்ணிகிட்ருக்காங்க. ஈவன் கிளஸ்டர் டெவலப்மெண்ட் ப்ரோக்ராம்லேயும் நிறையா காமன் ஃபெசிலிட்டி சென்டர்ஸ் உருவாக்கியிருக்கோம். அரௌண்டு 22 ரன்னிங் காமன் ஃபெசிலிட்டி சென்டர் இருக்குது. அனதர் 25 இஸ் அப்கமிங். அந்த ஃபெசிலிட்டி சென்டரில் நீங்கள் உங்கள் மேனுஃபேக்சரிங் சிஸ்டத்தை நீங்கள் போய் மேனுஃபேக்சர் பண்ணிவிட்டு உங்கள் பொருளை உருவாக்கிட்டு வந்துடலாம். பாதி பொருளை உங்கள் ஊரில் உருவாக்கலாம், பாதி ப்ராசஸிங் அங்கே பண்ணிவிட்டு வரலாம். ஸோ மெனி ஸ்கீம்ஸ் வி ஆர் இம்ப்ளிமெண்டிங். எவ்ரிதிங் இஸ் அவைலபிள் ஆன் அ வெப்சைட். கைண்ட்லி லுக் இன் டு தட். எனி இஷ்யூஸ் யூ ஆர் கம்மிங் அக்ராஸ், நிறைய பிரச்சனைகள் உங்களுக்கு வந்துச்சுன்னா டெஃபினட்டாக யூ நாக் த அவர் டோர். ஸ்டேட் கவர்மெண்ட்டோட சேர்ந்து சிட்கோ ஸ்டார் சொன்ன மாதிரி சிட்கோவோட சேர்ந்து நிறைய இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் பிளாட்ஸ், இண்டஸ்ட்ரியல் எஸ்டேட்ஸ் நிறைய உருவாக்கிட்டு இருக்கோம். நிறைய வெப்சைட் நிறைய டீட்டெயில்ஸ் நீங்கள் எங்கள் வெப்சைட்டில் போய் பார்க்கலாம். ஆகையால் உங்களுக்கு உதவி செய்கிறதுக்கு த்ரூஅவுட் யுவர் ஜேர்னி, ஒரு என்டர்பிரினர் ஜேர்னியில் நாங்கள் உதவி செய்கிறதுக்கு நாங்கள் ஆயத்தமாக இருக்கிறோம், ரெடியாக இருக்கிறோம், அதை ஹெல்ப் பண்ணுறதுக்காக. ஆக மொத்தம் இந்த செமினார் அருமையான ஒரு இட்ஸ் அ பஸ்வேர்ட். ஒரு சஸ்டைனபிள்ங்கிறது அந்த காலத்தில் இருக்குது. பட் இட் இஸ் கோ எக்ஸிஸ்டன்ஸ். ரெண்டும் சேர்ந்து தான் அது நடக்கும். அப்படிங்கிற மாதிரி எப்படி நமக்கு 2 கால் இருந்தால் தான் நடக்க முடியும், 2 கால் இருந்தால் தான் ஓட முடியும், ஒரு காலோட ஓட முடியாது. அது மாதிரி தான் இந்த எம்எஸ்எம்இயும் சஸ்டைனபிலிட்டியும். அது ரெண்டும் கண்டிப்பாக நடந்தாகணும், அதை நீங்கள் ஃபாலோ பண்ணி ஆகணும். ஆகையில் இது மாதிரி அவேர்னஸ் ப்ரோக்ராம்ங்கிறது ரொம்ப ரொம்ப இம்பார்ட்டண்ட், ரொம்ப யூஸ்ஃபுல்லாக இருக்கும் அப்படிங்கிறது என்னோட எண்ணம். அதே போல் சக்ஸஸ்ஃபுல்லாக நல்லா நடக்கணும். அது இதில் அவேர்னஸ் ப்ரோக்ராமில் கலந்துக்கிட்டு உங்களுக்கு என்னென்ன டவுட் இருக்குது, ஏது டவுட் இருக்குது எல்லாத்தையும் கேட்டுட்டு கிளியர் பண்ணிவிட்டு போகலாம். ஆக மொத்தம் ரொம்ப நன்றி, என்னை கூப்பிட்டதுக்கு நன்றி. வணக்கம்.
ரொம்ப நன்றி சார். அதாவது திருவள்ளுவர் எப்படி 2 அடியில் சொன்னாரோ அதே மாதிரி 2 வார்த்தையில் நீங்கள் சொல்லிட்டீங்க. எம்எஸ்எம்இ அண்ட் சஸ்டைனபிலிட்டி 2 கால் மாதிரி அப்படின்னு சொல்லிட்டீங்க. ரொம்ப நன்றி. தேங்க்யூ வெரி மச் சார். And we sincerely appreciate the time and wisdom you have shared with us. We are very grateful for your unwavering dedication to progress of the MSME in India. Thank you very much, sir. And ladies and gentlemen, it's my privilege to introduce a distinguished leader and a strong advocate for the growth and development of micro, small and medium enterprises, Shri C.K. Mohan, President of TANSIA, Tamil Nadu Small and Tiny Industries Association. With a wealth of experience in the MSME sector, Shri C.K. Mohan has been at the forefront of driving policy discussions, fostering entrepreneurship, and ensuring that small and tiny industries receive the support they need to thrive. Under his leadership, TANSIA has played a crucial role in empowering businesses, bridging the gap between the industry and government, creating a robust ecosystem for MSMEs in Tamil Nadu. His commitment to the cause of small-scale industries and his vision for a sustainable and progressive industrial landscape make him an invaluable voice in today's discussion. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Shri C.K. Mohan, who is the President of TANSIA. Welcome, sir.
Good evening, everybody. Respected dignitaries on the dais and off the dais. When FICCI approached Ramu, we wanted to do a program on ESG with TANSIA, immediately agreed, and we decided as a chief guest immediate none other than our great Hansraj Verma sir, I'm telling you, today you are all hearing ESG for the past months, but he has been talking it for the past 2 years. And he has been so passionate, whenever there's a meeting, he will be talking about ESG. So, and it is fortunate that he is now in a position as a chairman COSI India, that he takes forward this mission to all over India. So, this is the best compliment we have today in this meeting. Thank you, sir. As already explained by all the speakers, I don't want to go much about it because SEBI has introduced already the Business and Corporate Response BRSR framework, which includes ESG reporting for selected companies, which incorporates ESG revealing for those organizations in India. Here are a few main points of contention on BRSR and ESG revealing in India. Framework. SEBI has created a framework of BRSR that gives listed companies guidelines for reporting on ESG performance other aspects of life. Execution. BRSR system is presently just accessible. However, SEBI has said it will be compulsory for a few recorded organizations later on. So it's only the beginning, but it's going to be as the non-negotiable for future, which is going to affect these small and micro industries as well. ESG markers. The BRSR system contains 21 key ESG pointers that organizations are expected to report. These cover an assortment of ESG themes: environmental change, common freedoms, work practices, and production network on the board. So, there are many other aspects which makes it compulsory, this ESG for the future. Importance of ESG on SMEs. Small and medium enterprises encompasses a wide range of businesses across various industries. India's economy relies heavily on businesses which make significant contributions to employment creation, GDP expansion, and overall industrial development. SMEs are the ones that will have to develop an ESG framework from scratch, as the regulations are fairly new to them in comparison to large businesses. Already, most of the corporates have started practicing this ESG, which is not, in fact, definitely 75% of the small and micro are not aware of it. And this is where Tansya would like to take it forward, all these things towards the state, all these across the state. And Tansya would like to make a major share in this. Though again, investing in an ESG framework is going to be a costly affair, definitely. It is the only way they can ensure their businesses stay relevant for the future. It can offer them a variety of benefits such as access to capital and investment, improved risk management, talent attraction and retention, competitive advantage, enhanced innovation and efficiency, regulatory compliance, stakeholder engagement and trust, enhanced reputation and brand value. Without all these things, we will not be in a position to retain our status as an industry, as a small-scale industry, and will continue to be in the supply chain and make in India for the global. So, I wish every one of us in this meeting as a takeaway that we will start working towards compliance of ESG immediately, start with, and Tansya will be definitely taking forward to the government whatever that is required from the industry. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for your deep understanding of the MSME sector, industry challenges, and the roadmap for sustainable growth has provided us with immense clarity and motivation. Thank you very much, sir. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to honor our special guest, and of course, I would request our chairman, Dr. G.S.K. Velu, to felicitate Shri Hans Raj Verma, the retired IAS, Director General, COCDC, Chairman of ITCAT Limited. I request our chairman to also felicitate Shri S. Suresh Babuji, Directorate, MSME, DFO, Government of India. I would request our co-chairman, Shri Bhupesh Nagarajan, to present a small token of recognition to Shri C.K. Mohan, President, Tansya. And may I now welcome Shri M. Nandakumar, the convener, FICCI Tamil Nadu State Council and MD, Nanvin Energy Limited. So I would request him to present this small token of appreciation to our chairman, Dr. G.S.K. Velu. Thank you very much, sir. And I would also request him to present the small token of appreciation to our co-chairman, Shri Bhupesh Nagarajan. Co-Chairman, FICCI Tamil Nadu State Council and CMD Indra Group of Companies to deliver the concluding remarks.
அனைவருக்கும் வணக்கம். Good evening. I can understand the timeline. Even though we started very sharply today, we got a very insightful talk from our chief guest, Sri Hansraj Verma, ESG. So we got a lot of information from him. Thank you very much for the all the intellectual, talk here. Yeah, every one of us knows sustainability is the key factor for next at least 4-5 decades till we achieve the net zero. And I believe Indian culture has its own. தமிழில் வந்து தற்சார்புன்னு சொல்லுவோம். ஸோ தற்சார்பு வாழ்க்கையில் தான் நம்ம எல்லாருமே வாழ்ந்துட்டு இருந்தோம். ஸோ இந்தியன் கல்ச்சர் இட் செல்ஃப் ஹேவ்ஸ் த sustainability in its culture itself. So we are coming back. We followed the Western culture for industrialization. So we are coming back to our own culture. I believe for Indian MSME, it won't be much challenging task to achieve the ESG goals and Government of India and world's goal for achieving net zero. So with that note, I am also eagerly waiting to hear from the experts what they are saying because, and I would say only one thing in this juncture. So SME listing is happening in a long way for last 4 years. So when I see the database from FICCI side, I'm saying Gujarat is leading, Maharashtra is leading. Why not Tamil Nadu? So here I'm having all my colleagues from the MSME. So I would urge, think about the SME listing so that we can compete with the global companies. With that note, I would like to thank Chief Guest Hansraj Verma, IASG. Thank you, sir, for the presence and intellectual talk. And I like to extend my thank to Suresh Babuji, Director MSME, DFO. Thank you, sir. I like to thank CK Mohan, sir, President, Tansitia, always, voice of MSME in Tamil Nadu. Thank you, sir. I like to thank our chairman, Dr. GSK Velu, sir, for his presence and guidance for this event. Thank you, sir. And I like to thank the upcoming speakers in the panel, Nandakumar, sir, and the panel. Thank you very much and have a wonderful session. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir, for the concluding remarks. And we will get started with the panel discussion right now. Thank you, sirs.
In a world where climate action is urgent, the FICCI Center for Sustainability Leadership stands as a beacon of hope. Established by the Federation of Indian Chambers of Commerce and Industry, with Hindustan Unilever and HSBC as its founding members, the center drives sustainability strategies for Indian businesses. Its mission aligns with India's ambitious net zero goals under the Panchamrit framework, supporting businesses in adopting sustainable pathways through ecosystem-based approaches.
क्लाइमेट चेंज पर इस वैश्विक मंथन के बीच मैं भारत की ओर से इस चुनौती से निपटने के लिए 5 अमृत तत्व रखना चाहता हूं.
Encouraging sustainable consumption, production and lifestyle. Through its various initiatives, it promotes decarbonization, green entrepreneurship and nature-based solutions. Recognizing the crucial role of SMEs in the economy, it fosters inclusive and sustainable practices amongst India's SMEs, ensuring their integration into the global value chains. Supported by its knowledge partner, eCube Investment Advisors, the center highlights cutting-edge climate technologies from India's startup ecosystem, advancing circular economy principles and sustainable consumption patterns. Its bespoke training programs and workshops equip businesses with the tools to navigate the complexities of sustainability and help companies meet environmental, social, and governance reporting requirements. Through its outreach initiatives, the center showcases global best practices and emerging policies. The center's thought leadership is geared to address challenges being faced by the industry, offering targeted intervention for technology adoption and facilitating access to finance.
How do we help corporations, especially MSMEs, embark on this journey of sustainability? How do we help you decarbonize? How do we bring in innovations? How do we share best practices and learnings? And I would definitely urge all of you to take the maximum use of FICCI's Sustainability Center.
We invite you to join this transformative journey. Together, we can build a brighter, greener future for generations to come.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to kickstart the panel discussion on ESG and sustainable business practices for MSMEs. To moderate the session, we would like to have Shri M. Nandakumar, Convener, FICCI Tamil Nadu State Council and MD, Nanwin Energy Limited. Welcome, sir. I would like to welcome Shri D. Udaya Kumar, Managing Director, Shakti Laser Technology. Welcome, sir. Welcome, sir. Shri V.K. Girish Pandian, President, the Industrial Estate Manufacturers Association. Welcome, sir. And Shri Abhishek Bharadwaj, Senior Program Associate, Energy, WRI India. Welcome, sir. And Srimati Divya Uday Kumar, UTM, Strategic Advisors. Welcome, ma'am. We're leaving the floor to the moderator. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
தல்லாவிலையிலும் தக்காரும் தாழ்விழா செல்வரும் சேர்வது நாடு. நல்ல விளைபொருளும் கேடில்லாத செல்வரும் நல்ல அறிஞர்களையும் கொண்ட நாடே நாடாக கருதப்படும். A kingdom is that in which inexhaustible wealth and the elders with lot of credence all live together is as per our Tiruvallur log back. It's no less than for our own state, our own FICCI, our own MSMEs, it's very well is applicable. So we had a wonderful session, and thank you, sir, for your passionate time. Always Hansraj sir has been a source of inspiration, and Mr. Mohan and our FICCI chairman and the team of people, Babuji sir, we've been an inspiring, kind of a talk we had listened from you. For the next about 45 minutes, 50 minutes, we will talk about, let's focus on how does it or what is in it for me, meaning like end of the day, all of us all come here with a clear thing like what is in it for me too, as a kind of a takeaway. As you all know, the ESG, which comprises the environmental, social, and as well as the governance, has a prime, constituent, which is the environment. That's why it finds its first place. The climate change makes its, the kind of get crashing. It's at our doorsteps. We can see, the climate change related impacts very seriously. People talk about 1.5 to 2 degrees. Why they say 1.5 to 2 degrees? Because 1.5, when it becomes close to 2, some countries may vanish from the map. That's the kind of the things are impacts happening. You can see the incessant floods, pluvial rivers, and forest fires, and the sea level rise. These are all the impacts of the climate change. And as I've been talking about, if you take the emissions, or if you take, how the things have happened over the period of time of, the pre-industrial era to till now, the carbon levels have substantially gone up to the level of 420 ppm. And people say by 2030, if you have to limit 1.5 to 2 degrees really, you have got to have only a 750 tons of budget, 750 gigatons of, the carbon can be emitted in the next 5 to 6 years of time. That means we have got a very, kind of a limited opportunity for a growth. At the same time, we have got to contain the system so that it doesn't, kind of becoming wound up. And towards that, various measures are being taken. People primarily talk about industries because they know primarily industries. It is not. It is the human activities which causes in various forms the complete warming up. Even the, the land change usage, land change usage causes, and kind of our eating habits changes. A typical example is a 100 gram of a piece generates CO2, which is about 1 kg, whereas 1 kg of a beef generates something like around 25 kg of CO2. That is why people are now switching over to vegan. Of course, there are several factors and reasons. Apart from that, from the perspective of being, emissions, from the point of view of, whatever is going to lead us to the warming up, it's becoming significant not only from the industries and every point of view. Towards this, how does it SMEs or MSMEs comes into picture if you take? If you take the India's, the entire GDP, as a whole, We talk about agriculture, which is the prime sector, and that's something like close to around 30% of our GDP, and manufacturing and construction close to around 16-17%, and the service sector around 55 to 60%. But if you take the employment which is generated by the agriculture sector, is substantial, that is slightly informal. But if you take the manufacturing, for 16% of GDP, it generates 15% of employment. Whereas the service sector, which is around 55 to 60%, it generates employment only to the extent of around 25 to 30%. That is the reason our growing economy like India focuses on manufacturing and on MSMEs. That is the reason the government has also, kind of revised the revenue limits and the investment limits so that it brings more, industries into the ambit of MSMEs, and then we are able to, kind of crank the engine of growth in the economy, which is only possible by growth in the manufacturing sector, growth in the MSMEs as such, it's only possible. It is towards this, the MSMEs plays a significant role in every aspects of the economy. Naturally, the emissions, while we keep talking about, yes, is also only to be taken care or has got to be kind of successfully controlled only through MSMEs is possible. So it is towards that we are here, and we heard also from distinguished speaker like Hansraj Verma sir, like a scope 1, scope 2, scope 3. Scope 1 is the emissions which is directly caused by an individual company which is making. Scope 2 is the immediate. Scope 3 is the entire supply chain. If you take the scope 1 which is directly emitted by an individual or a company, it is only 2%. And the scope 2 which is at immediate dependent is about 0.1. The rest 97.9 is the entire supply chain, is the scope 3 which emits the entire emissions level. So the entire scope 3, what we are trying to talk about, the entire chain of MSMEs is the one we are focusing upon, wherein we have got to really get geared up to catch up with that. And if you are looking at a broader number, something like $23 trillion of opportunity by 2030 is available towards the environmental, social and governance alone worldwide. And India's share, is substantially bigger out of that. And if you break that down into further and further, there are a lot of opportunities across is available. So it is towards that we are driving our path, and then we are trying to go about. And in this context, we have our distinguished panelists over here. So I'd like to kind of put it upon to the panelists. What is that is the incentivizing, or what is that is the positive side of going for the ESG implementation for the various MSMEs. So that's what is the first point I'd like to take it upon. I'd like to start with Ms. Divya to begin with. What's that is the driving factor for the MSMEs to go for the kind of adopting to the ESG practices.
Good afternoon all, and thank you for calling me here. So the driving factors for ESGs will be cost benefit, and it creates a brand reputation. See, suppose there are five companies who are manufacturing the same product. The one who adopts ESG practices into their operation will get more preference. Because banks, they can't project your financials for 15 years. Any financial model can only project it for 3 years. Okay? Even after our third quarter, we will get confused with our financials. So, that value investing comes with ESG. It creates a brand reputation. It gives you a competitive advantage. And apart from this, these ESG practices are inbuilt in our genes. At our home also, we don't waste any food, right? Like the West does, just by seeing the expiry date. We use our senses, that we see it, smell it, taste it. So it gives cost saving instead of just throwing food. Similarly, by adapting these ESG practices in your business operations, you can save cost by using circular economy, or be it energy efficiency, waste reduction technologies. These help you to generate income, reduce your costs, and not increase any expenditure. As we do in our home, we can do it in our operations, business operations as well. Yes, sir.
Thank you. The right example you have given right from our household, right from our waste management is also part of the ESG's, kind of a criteria. In case if you are in a waste management related efforts, if you are taking up, it's sometime is also as an incentivizing is eligible for carbon credits. A company here in Chennai which produces something like 100 tons of food waste it collects and produces 4 tons of bio-CNG per day. So that company is eligible for carbon offset, carbon credits. They get about something like 27,000 credits, which in equivalent term of currency is something like 55 to 60 lakhs for 14 years. So this is a kind of a small incentive available to the people, because what is the driver for the people to go for it when you have to invest time and money towards that is a one example, probably as a cue of point what Ms. Diva has taken. I just wanted to highlight. So Abhishek, what's that your take on what all the drivers, and from your point of view, can you just highlight it?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. What I believe from the ESG compliance, there is a slew of measures that MSMEs can have and have the advantages around it. So, firstly, I'll be talking about the competitiveness, the export competitiveness that ESG measures can apply. So, as Hansraj sir already elaborated, the BRSR regime and several other regimes, including CBAM, this double C, triple D, this corporate sustainability due diligence directive. All of these measures, actually taken into account the various scope 3 measures that are incorporated to the value chains. So, this would give an additional advantage to the MSMEs, in terms of in terms of exporting their finished products to, various markets around the world. The other aspect that I'd like to speak about, as my colleague Divya has already elaborated, it's the savings that one can get through, these environmental measures. Particularly, there are energy saving measures, there are renewable energy integrations. All of this can be accounted for, for the competitiveness, and as well as the savings in the electricity reduction and accountability. The third one actually being availing the green financing options. So there are a lot of slew of multilateral and bilateral funding available options that are coming up in the market, and global organizations like World Bank and bilateral organizations like KfW and Asian development banks are providing all of these measures to ESG compliant SMEs as well as corporates. So this kinds of measure would be additional to that fact. The other measures in this would be the branding of it. As I read from one of the surveys that happened, that 54% of the Indians are actually willing to pay an incentive for acquiring products that are manufactured in a good way, that are compliant to the environmental norms, and they can go an extra mile just to gain those products. Lastly, there would be another thing that is basically the collaboration and clustering benefits that MSMEs can additionally have. So there are a slew of measures, particularly in the energy savings parts, like common boiler systems that many MSMEs can come together and approach, just to have those savings and approach all of these bilaterals for that kind of initiatives. So I'd recommend there is a few measures, 4 to 6 definite measures that can be applied for so that those benefits can be availed and ESG measures can be adopted.
Thanks, Mr. Abhishek, especially on the point of accessibility for the funding, for the MSMEs is very critical. So you rightly highlighted about the green funds which is being available, and our FICCI co-chairman has also highlighted about the stock exchange listing for the MSMEs, which is one of the opportunity available. And we got also social stock exchange, wherein people also can raise funds for the social cause, also is now becoming available. And that's very important point what you highlighted. Thanks, Mr. Abhishek. So Girish Pandyan, please your views on especially what are the drivers for people to adopt ESG, especially the MSMEs in the challenging times.
Thank you for this opportunity given. The key drivers, I would say, let me give you a small throwback. When I was studying, I'm talking about 30 years back in the engineering, I used to see an ad by an Ambattur-based company, a small industry, MSME industry. That was the first time companies were getting into ISO. First ISO certified, 9001 certified company. I still remember the name, but now I'm not able to recollect it. another SLR, but it's first main road. And then every year, first started with TVS, a full page ad. The ad was given by quality certification by the Japanese government. It kindled a lot of people's mind as to what is this kind of certification which the Japanese government is giving to this automobile concern. And then companies were competing against each other to get that kind of certification. Then they used to put stars, 5-star rating, 5 times in a row we've been getting this. And then Rani TRW started getting that. And then Wheels India. That's how it kindled the interest in getting certification to become the best in the industry. And then now it is a norm. Now every ISO 9000 certification is a standard. Without that you cannot do anything. That is there everywhere. So those days when I used to study, or when we used to study and go to units, we saw the certification and said we used to be in awe of the certification, the way it was done in a factory. Entire system changed, and then came the total quality management. So these are all the given now. These are all the norms which are happening right now. ESG is going to be like that. It started in the past couple of years after COVID or even before that. But the traction is now. Now ESG is nothing. What you do regularly in a unit, you do it properly, systematically. What, as he said, as Bhupesh said, we've been doing it for ages together. It's nothing new. It's just that you'll have to systematically do it. Waste, recycling, what you do, you just make sure that it is done properly. But then these are the drivers which are going to fuel the MSME industry in the ages to come. It's going to be a huge thing for our MSMEs to move to the next level. So we are at the cusp of this industry where from here, the next 20-30 years, we are going to be growing. So this is going to be the main driver for all the MSMEs which are there. Thank you. We both are from the industry. He is from Ambattur and I am from Gindi. He runs an industry.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for the opportunity. And they passed on the mic to me the last. So, okay. So just would like to touch upon the first word here, that is the sustainability. There is something called, or there is a day called the Earth Day. And this day keeps, or the Earth Resources Day. This date keeps changing. Why? Anybody? The resources Mother Earth can generate, let us say, is 100. And this is required for 365 days in a year. So within how many days do we as humans consume it? We mostly consume it somewhere between July 2nd week and August 1st week. Whatever is being generated by Mother Earth, we humans consume it in 9 months or 8 months or max 9 months. The only period, only year, the Earth Resource Day was pushed back was during the year COVID, and it was on August 24th. Even then we are consuming it in roughly about 9 months. So this sustainability, we are eating more on our reserves from the earth. So that is why this sustainability is more important for us. What can MSMEs do? Yes, there are a lot of people who are polluting, and why is it put on MSMEs? MSMEs will be the worst affected people. Anything in the supply chain hit MSME. Anything grows, even then MSMEs are hit, good or bad. So first thing that takes a hit is MSMEs. A big corporate is closed, MSME. Employee strike, MSME. Transporters strike, it is the first thing that is being hit is MSME. So we are the people who will be affected. Most of us have spoken about the advantages. I would like to add on one advantage which during the period of implementing of these efforts, we could bring on, accidentally we can start, or we may find some innovative means or something which can be beneficial to us. That is one advantage. Secondly, by governance, we can bring in a lot of safety measures which is very important for us, be it the fire safety, be it the employee safety, or the safetyness which we can implement during the production. And third one being the quality, which my friend has spoken. With that, I would like to rest on this. Up to you, sir. Yes.
So, based on the discussions, what we could, kind of get a feel is that so far it has been kind of a voluntary in trying to adopt the ESG measures, environmental, social governance. But it may not be the days for us to count on and continue. It may become mandatory, like a BRSR, which has been now put for the top 1,000 market value capitalization companies in BSE. Slowly, people will look at it. And if you take, the carbon markets, carbon credits, Europe's 50% requirements are met by the Indian carbon credits. So that means we are already on it. But only thing is we sometimes need a kind of a small whip, probably, I'm not sure. Though I put a point as a driver, what is it as a driver, what is in it for me to go for ESG? I think it's a time slowly will come wherein it will become mandatory. So we have got to get ourselves ready before it becomes mandatory, get into the position of start adopting it. So while we try to, kind of adopt it, I look at probably, as MSMEs, we have several challenges in terms of, the pressure on the margins, pressure on the working capital, pressure on funding access, pressure on several factors. And while we talk about ESG suddenly to be practiced by, a kind of set of companies which are in the bottom of the pyramid of the economy, it percolates down from the corporates down and down. It takes time. So what is the challenge for the MSMEs really to go and then implement the so-called buzzword of ESG into their systems? So I will ask Vidya to start, and then we can hear it from other panelists.
So the challenge is they have resistance because they see the short-term profits more than the long-term gains which they get through the sustainable practices. No, the regulators will not push MSMEs. But the large corporations will push, because for MSMEs being in manufacturing especially, for them 3/4 is scope 1, scope 2 emission, which is large corporation scope 3 emission. So they will push MSMEs and they will not be in the list of preferred suppliers. So what at the end? At the end it means except ESG, nothing is going to bring business to MSMEs. Apart from that, MSMEs will not even get good talent. What suppose Gen Z says one day, we will join a company which is ESG compliant. Who knows what Gen Z will do at what time? So suddenly they say we are going to join only ESG compliant companies. We want these policies to be implemented in the company. The stage has now come where employees demand more. They want work-life balance. In China, many Gen Z are shifting to blue-collar jobs. They don't want white-collar jobs. They want work-life balance. They want to take their own time of work and off. They decide everything. So, it's not about only the environmental part, it's about the social and governance aspects which will affect you more. And one more challenge, main challenge, what I see when I discuss with the companies, when they think they want to adapt this ESG, they don't pass this vision to the rest of the organization. What suppose only the top management thinks, yeah, we are ESG compliant, we are going to be ESG compliant. And the bottom level of the employees, they will not know what is ESG. It's like you are saying my organization is clean, we will not throw anything anywhere, we put everything in dustbin, and suddenly the bottom level of employees, they just throw trash everywhere around you. So you will notice only when it comes to light. Better that you have a good governance practice where you communicate this through all level of the employees, that every level of the organization, so that even the bottommost employee is able to reach you. Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Abhishek, your views, please, on the challenges.
I'll speak about the how this particular regime has developed in India, and that how adequately that has led to the challenges in this context. So back in the year of 2009, when Ministry of Corporate Affairs first came out with national voluntary directives, that actually, told the corporates to voluntarily declare their emissions, all the compliances in this regard. And from there to the year of 2022, when business responsibility and sustainability reporting came, it was mandated that 1,000 top corporates across India will have to, mandatorily disclose their Scope 1 and Scope 2 emissions, and, voluntarily have a mandate on, providing the Scope 3 emissions. By Scope 3 emissions, it is basically the emissions that comes from the downstream and upstream partners, primarily that are which are MSMEs in nature. Now, when we talk about MSMEs, there has been a lot of problem right from the starting of it, the concept of it, which is actually related to the knowledge and dissemination part of it. So MSMEs does have a limited knowledge around this area, and when we talk about the social aspects of it, the various safeguarding of employees, the safeguarding of the workplace ethics, and all of that are actually not fairly known to them. So the knowledge and dissemination is actually one of the core challenges that MSMEs face for the compliance in the ESG regards. The other thing that I'd like to mention is definitely on this the administrative costs for this ESG compliance. So large corporates usually they cater to have their sustainability teams that actually look after all these guidelines and provide the right kind of frameworks and reporting measures. But when it comes to MSMEs or SMEs in that regard, they do not have that same kind of representation. So that additional administrative cost on the pockets of MSMEs is definitely a challenge when as an MSME I'm directly looking to maximize my profits and enhance my production. So it would definitely be a challenge. The other thing that could be a challenge in this regard is the return on investments that this compliance that MSMEs would look after. So since I had already mentioned that there is a knowledge and dissemination problem, the MSMEs need to be taught about how these compliance measures would actually lead to some sort of benefits for them in the longer run. Considering there has been a few cases where the corporates actually are providing training programs to MSMEs, but this has generally been very limited, and only 48% of the 250 listed companies by SEBI are actually doing this kinds of activities. So you see there is a lot of knowledge gap that is happening, and MSMEs are actually not knowing about what to do and how to comply with. Lastly, there is a definite need and thrust from the government side into this. So government has actually been focusing on ESG benefits and how the framework can be developed, but when it comes to additional incentives that usually MSMEs look after in terms of easy availability of loans and subsidies, and creating a consortium where the industrial association bodies can come together and work and disseminate knowledge around this. Is something where it is lagging. Going forward, certification in this regard would also be something that could be worked upon. Actually pinpointing that these MSMEs are actually ESG compliant, and that would directly lead to the business expansion and related aspects. I think these challenges have to be worked on before all of these ESG compliance measures can be accounted for in the MSMEs.
Thanks, Mr. Abhishek. Mr. Grishman, in your views, please, the challenges.
No, from the MSME perspective, I would say, as you know, MSMEs are all owned and run by a single man organization. The entire industry is owned. It's a one-man show. Basically, it's a one-man show. So that is the way majority of the MSME industries are there. So to comply with ESG, to have a person dedicated for an ESG, because ESG is not just the way you do it, it's just that collecting data on a regular basis, reporting, systemizing, and then uploading all the data on a database, and then to say that you are a ESG compliant unit. Single man show da. We are running day in, day out, supplying to the customer's need on a daily basis. You have pressures, month-end pressure, year-end pressure, everything is there. And MSMEs don't have the wherewithal of having a huge department like a bigger corporation where you have a separate department with people taking in data from the entire industry. That is going to be one of the biggest challenges. Post-COVID, the status of MSMEs, now it is slowly recovering. After a couple of years, we are on the recovery path where we are growing at the next level. When it is growing slowly over a period of time, yes, we will look at employing one person dedicated for the ESG, or to look into not just dedicated for ESG, probably a person who is already there as a quality person can look into ESG compliance and start taking the data. Another issue is the government compliances, statutory bodies. That is going to be a huge challenge because most of them don't know about ESG. One of the primary is if it is a polluting industry, you need to get the pollution certificate. That is the basic thing. And then how you do, one of the 9 principles is ethical business needs. And a lot of principles are there when it comes to ESG. So challenges are immense, but then as an MSME entrepreneur, you should know how to mitigate these challenges and grow. The ultimate aim is to grow in the next 1 decade wherever I want to be, the next second decade wherever I want to be, which is a target market which you are going to acquire. So, adukku enna venumo adukku thevayanadha we should work it out and then work with the system with whatever wherewithal and the knowledge and the financial capabilities which you have. If you are able to achieve that goal, then it is definitely achievable. It's not that it is going to be a huge challenge, but then initial challenges are there. It is going to be tough for us to spread the awareness and then make an entrepreneur get into the ESG platform and tell him this is going to help you in the long run. It is a huge challenge. The government of India is incentivizing through a lot of programs. So one of the first thing is like Z certification. They have 3 or 4 gold, bronze, silver, gold, which is again one of the principles. They are helping the units getting into ISO, and then SIDBI has come up with a greening fund where you can approach your SIDBI for your ESG practices, implement solar system, whatever you want in that system. But then awareness is there, challenges are also there. The entrepreneurs should take it from here and then move on. That is the main challenge.
Most of the points are covered. One thing is that which I would like to highlight is in MSME, the priorities keep changing. So today there is one priority, tomorrow there is another priority, and the day after there is another priority. So the priority keeps on changing, and as he said, with the limited resources, whatever we could manage, we have been managing. That is a big challenge. And then, to hold on to that sort of a change, in case we are implementing a change, for us to sustain that change is a big challenge, because we have to keep on, educating our staff and then make them do it day in and day out every day. Then that is a big challenge. And another challenge where, suppose we train somebody, employee retention is another problem. So we train somebody, we ask him to do the practices, and then on one fine day he says he's leaving the company. Then that is another big challenge which we as MSMEs are facing. So the continuity part will be, missed out in that place. So we have to recruit another person, train him on the regular production job, than the, the things which are important. So that's what is more important for us, to keep the business running than to implement these things. These are challenges which we would, practically would face. Up to you, sir.
This time you start with it.
Yeah, sure. Okay, for a change. Yeah. So we heard about the challenges. Always the challenges throws up equally the opportunities. If you take in terms of, probably we heard from all the panelists, the manpower. Yes, the manpower is another sector. We have got to train the people in that. There are organizations in India and as well as in abroad. There are outfits which starts training the people. There is an organization called TerraDo in United States, which has a program, a fellowship program, of which also I'm an alumnus, and then I think Divya you're also part of alumnus of TerraDo. So that organization runs to sensitize, to make the people aware about the entire, the sustainability and the climate change related aspects. So it's all happening. And then, like even in India, there are several organizations do offer such kind of sensitizing program to the employees and things. And second is the cost pressure, yes, is always a challenge for the MSMEs to end of the day. But one thing what I've observed is that when everyone puts that cost into the whatever the costing comes, then finally you put it as your whatever the margins and then sell it at a price, then everybody becomes a level playing. The cost may not be really be a cost for you alone. But until that time, what to do is a challenge. But once that is done, it will become a level playing field. So I believe the challenge is definitely for us, is like risk taking is like a risk. We will definitely be able to manage it. And as I was telling, like we are spearheading and then contributing to the carbon credits of 50% of the European market. That means we are already into the kind of renewable space and things in a very successful way. So that means we'll be definitely be able to overcome the challenges and things to come. So that's I believe is the end of the day for us to take it forward. So I would like to take on two things now further. One is is there any use on case, meaning somebody implemented ESG, there are some benefits I'd like to hear. And also our discussions will not be complete without one discussion. I think everybody knows today we talk about everything AI. So I'd like to also hear about from you all about anything AI has got to do with ESG. So these two things from quickly from all the panelists. I think this time from Sudhir Kumar for this thing will change. On AI in ESG and also like any use on case, meaning like somebody implemented ESG, they benefited. If you come across, you just throw it over.
ESG implementation, see, what I have done in my factory, I can speak about two things which we have implemented and benefiting. One is, we have installed a rooftop solar panel in our factory. We are able to, generate, and for me the payback period would be roughly about I expect it to be 5.5 years max. We are already 2.5 years into the solar power generation. This is one, and secondly we have bought a electric press brake which is saving a bit of energy for us. These are two things, and then as far as AI is concerned, AI is a disruptive, technology. We don't know what it is, capable of as on date. We saw the markets crash because of DeepSeek, without even knowing what DeepSeek can challenge, how it can challenge ChatGPT. The market crashed. Suffering, many of our billionaires lost huge piles of. Points or whatever we call it, money because of AI. So as far as AI is concerned, putting it to good use, we can still, a lot of reports can be generated, a lot of quotations can be generated. I per se use, AI to draft letters, draft mails, draft messages, and I'm still learning to use ChatGPT where we can generate reports and make presentations as well. I've done a couple of presentations. It is doing fairly well than me. This is all I could see. Thank you, sir.
Again, from my own perspective of implementing ESG, then not in the exact term of ESG. Then we've been doing it subconsciously over a period of time. Now you actually match with the ESG principles. It's almost the same, basically. How you treat your grey water, what sustainability, because again, end of the day, what you get from the earth, you have to give it back. Those are the things which we've been greening our factory ever since we set up a shop in, we moved our factory to Tindivanam. Tindivanam is about 110 kilometers here. We were in Guindy. It's a east-facing unit. So the first thing what we did was we did a full greening of the entire site so that the sun is there right till about 1 o'clock. So my shop floor workers were finding it very difficult to work. It's very hot during the summer. So now the entire east side is completely covered with the food forest. So you have different types of food, then plants, everything complete. And another sustainability is we have about 9 cows. It's all similar practice which we've been doing. The grey water is again used for the plants, and we have a small ecosystem within our plants. We have a duck. All these are small things. We put up solar street lights all over. We haven't put the solar rooftop yet, but then we are in the place. But then we do energy audit. Another one thing which we do regularly is regular maintenance of machines on a regular basis. That is one core thing which you do it on a regular basis as a practice, and then everything falls in place. It starts with the machine. So the machine breaks down, then everything goes off. So that is one major thing which we've been doing. I think these are the general norm which we've been following over these years, and then probably we have to incorporate the other principles, then get on board, and then slowly get into the ESG reporting or certification space.
Thanks, Mr. Girish. Yeah, Sarvishek, your views on that?
So, like I described earlier, back just at the end of the financial year 2023-2024, out of the 250 listed companies, 95 companies actually, spoke about the scope 3 emissions. So out of those 95 companies, there has been 3 or 4 different names of the companies that have actually gone through the secondary research. So if we want to go more elaborative on it, the names are Asian Clays, Pixel, Supertech. All of these companies are actually complying with the ESG norms based on the large corporates that they are a part of value chain. But more specifically, I'd like to describe on what my organization WRI India has done, particularly on the ESG domain, more working on the environmental part. So in the state of Haryana, we worked with a cluster called Yamunanagar Plywood Cluster. So there we actually worked with 14 to 15 different MSMEs on the ground, and we laid a concept called demand aggregation for solar rooftop installation. So under this particular concept, several entities that particularly want to go solar, we combined all of their demands, drafted an RFP, did a transparent bidding process, and selected a solar vendor. So, due to all of this acquisition and transparent process, we were actually, able to get a price that was actually 7 to 9% below the market average price. So this is actually something quite beneficial for the MSMEs in the longer run, and just tabulating on how this is directly impacting on their energy and emissions. It's there's one of the solar plant that was installed for a capacity of 110 kilowatt is actually going to reduce 3,000 tons of emissions of carbon dioxide over a lifespan of 25 years. So this is actually a big thing when we talk about SMEs. So it was a small manufacturing unit that actually produces plywood, and it actually also serves to some bigger firms like Khaitan and all. So it will, in the longer run, it will definitely provide some sort of benefit to it. And like Mr. Uday already spoke about, the payback period is hovering between 4 to 5 years. So it is actually a great technology when we talk about it. Definitely, I'll also speak up on the energy audit or the energy efficiency part of it, where a global corporate chain, where we assisted a global corporate chain in enhancing this sustainability measure in its value chains. So this was across the textile clusters of Erode as well as Tirupur, where we actually provided them extensive list of boiler operation and maintenance guideline, energy efficiency measures, replacement of motors, and policies by the central and the state government that could actually enhance all of these measures. So it's a mix of measures that can provide ESG measures and compliance ratings in these MSMEs. So that is where we have actually worked upon. But moving forward, we will also be incorporating the social and governance aspects of it, so that the compliance can be enhanced. Now, while I talk about the AI, it's a generative model that we work, that the current models are working on. By generative model, I actually mean it's a learning-based model. So today, if I type ESG, it will just give me a response, for example, that it is a, environmental social governance. But tomorrow, all of the users that are maybe present here, that, they type the same kind of thing, and that AI model starts learning itself. So, it will go through all of the resources that are available on the internet and provide, best kinds of answers, so that, tomorrow we have some kind of information available For example, an MSME may want to go for a technology upgradation, just for boiler electrification in that manner. So, it will come back with the most optimum result that, this particular boiler can work in the operations of 100 and 150 degrees Celsius. There could be more sophisticated run cases that can actually provide a lot of information for, MSMEs in the longer run that, this is the correct way to go about. Actually also talking about the operation and maintenance part where AI can also be leveraged in, because AI is actually can go through a lot of research articles that global think tanks, bodies in the industries and all of that have incorporated, and they can read through it in in time frames less than 3 to 5 minutes that actually a normal human would not like to go about. So all of those aspects can be leveraged while we use AI in the coming world. And the ChatGPT 4.5 is actually like Mr. Uday also said, it is quite capable of drawing presentation, building reports. But moving forward, I think it can create a whole list of complementary guidelines and practices that it will enhance the MSME's operationability and compliance to the ESG measures. Yeah.
Thanks, Divya. Your views on AI and as well as
Yes, sir. So I just don't want to say about any particular company as case study. As a consultant, when I interact with companies, be it textile sector or leather, plastic, automobiles, what they say is we don't know ESG. We are not ESG compliant. But when I interact with them, I ask questions like, are you using energy efficient machineries? Yes, are you recycling your waste? Yes, they are following circular economy principles. But the only thing is, they don't report it. They don't document ESG. That's the main part. Because they don't collect data. This AI tools, it helps to collect data. It helps to automate the ESG reporting process. Now, SEBI has come up with a Parivartan score tool. It helps us to know our ESG rating. But it will not let us down that you don't do this, so you are not ESG compliant. It calculates the speed and magnitude at which our company evolves. So it creates a score based on the speed and magnitude at which we are ESG compliant. There are tools like this which help us to get credit rating, which help us to become ESG compliant, which the AI which helps us to mitigate our risks. So AI, when it combined with ESG, gives us greater results, and companies are actually ESG compliant, but I strongly recommend companies to document it. Thank you, sir.
Just a small thing that I forgot to mention, like ma'am was actually referring to one of the tools. There's a tool called Bizonga. This came back in 2023, which actually tells MSME how to report on their ESG measures. So it's a very learning kind of a platform where all of us can go, and there are several other tools that are coming up on a day-to-day basis. So it is up to the MSMEs to look for it and maybe adopt those measures. Yeah.
I think probably we should have more awareness about these tools which are there. The awareness is not there. So when she was saying about the reporting, yes, when we talk about reporting is a very cumbersome and a long process. But then she made it very simple, and she said there are tools which can report on a regular basis. That awareness is not there for our MSME industries. That probably we should have sessions where we work with the consultants and they throw upon all the tools and the latest apps which they are talking about, so that the work of the MSME entrepreneur is simplified. That's all.
One request to Hansraj sir. Sir, the HT users, they are allowed to produce power elsewhere, and EB charges takes the wheeling charges. Yes. So if through the power line, if you can create some sort of a cluster where for example Ambattur or Gindi or any other cluster where the MSMEs can invest some money and maybe generate power elsewhere, and then our production costs come down. So maybe if you can use your good offices, if you can bring out a scheme for us, it would be really helpful, sir. Thank you.
Thanks, panelists. I think as an use-on case, I could hear the renewable energy is substantially across. All the people are able to say that they are able to do it. As a kind of what Mr. Uday Kumar told is that the power accessibility as per the Electricity Act, it has been given as an open access wherein people, the ST consumers, can either produce on their own or they can buy from a group captive or from a third party. It's possible through trading companies. So the clusters or probably even the individuals, if your consumption is reasonably a sizable amount, you can go to another third party and can buy, or as a group captive you can buy with a 26% of equity taken in their company. So these options are available and probably maybe can facilitate kind of a cluster to avail this many megawatt of power and then through a power trading. So definitely I can tell that a renewable power through such traded exchanges or 1 rupee lesser than that of what is it being told by utilities. So, and in the long run, yes, these are all green power, and then you'll also be eligible sometimes for carbon credits, and definitely it's a green power. That's absolutely one clear case is available. For sure, that is a thing. And as regard to the use cases, yes, we heard from the people. That's very important for us to get a hands-on, because unless it is felt by somebody, we may not be able to come forward to implement it. I'd like to make one small example of a case study of the USON, especially on the health safety environment. Say we did about 12 years back, while I was managing director in EDAC Engineering, which is a big group company. We did a 800 megawatt boiler construction, which is valued about cost is around 120 crores from a Korean company called Doosan. So they said, whatever the health safety environment, whatever you have to do, you said, please you describe all the items. We said, okay, towards health, for example, you have a toilets, you have got a safe disposal of waste, and similarly, safety related, how many scaffolding at how many locations, what is the volume cubic meter, and similarly the environmental wise, what are all the smoke detectors you keep, everything you said, you please list it. So this cost, when it is added up, it came something like, if you take 120 crore of the entire construction of boiler, 100%, this came about something like 4%. He said, you please describe all these items in your, whatever the costing you are giving. I said, I will pay you this 4%. I will pay you this money. Only thing is, you have got to bring this item. This many safety net, this many scaffolding, you please show me that you are bringing this scaffolding. I will pay you. The idea is that, like when the cost becomes a level playing field to everybody, and the statistics says a well-controlled HSC sites, construction projects, health safety environment, it substantially brings down the near miss accidents. There are about, in a typical project size of let's say around 120 crores, around 15-20 per month will be the near miss cases, which used to be, it just come down to nearly 1 or 2. And the fatal cases could be 1 in the project, which has also nearly come to 0. So this is emanated from set of companies which are practicing this as a principle, and then it has percolated down across. So the USON cases of this ESG implementation is definitely rewarding, and only thing is, until the time it becomes a level playing field, you have got to take it with a pinch of salt. You have got to convince the customer, yes, we are practicing it. Try to absorb this, this becomes a cost. It is not an add-on to you. It becomes part of the cost that we have got to convey to them. And coming to a little bit on AI, yes, that's going to be a little game changer. And one of the studies says 26% of our Indian jobs can be replaced by AI, while in United States, something like around 60% of jobs can be replaced by AI over a period of next 5 years. Globally, 40% of the jobs can be replaced by AI. But still, the research and whatever the tools being developed in AI related, India is far behind compared to that. Even if we take examples, sometimes good or bad with China, we are far behind and compared with Europe also. There is a big potential available, as Mr. Abhishek Mr. Girish was mentioning. Yes, these tools, and probably we can even have a chair under our Hansraj Sarmazar or with our cluster to form a kind of a AI ecosystem for MSMEs we can try to develop. I am part of International Project Management Associates, which spearheads the project management, wherein artificial intelligence and project execution, we formed a chair, and then I am part of that. We came out with certain tools, with certain ideas, and then how to go about with several sittings. So it probably can also evolve that, and then these tools, and working towards that can make the life simple, automate many processes, and over a period of probably 6 months, 7 months, we will be able to have some of these things, well automated systems in our hand, and MSMEs need not have to bear the cost of all of it. So it can be by a kind of a cluster to manage it and have it. That probably can be an option to really take it on. So that's one point I would like to kind of convey it. And I think with the permission of the panelists, and I would like to open it to our distinguished audience to have feedback on or any questions or clarifications on that. Sudarshan? One mic is enough.
Hello. So good evening all. See, we understand the ESG requirement which is mandatory in the coming days. I think now not mandatory. And the challenges what MSMEs are facing. So I am as a manufacturing as a service provider. So we are thinking of adding this service for MSMEs to help because you are getting manpower tough and maintaining it tough. So why don't you consider people like us outside waiting to do this service for you? Is there what kind of opportunities available if you take it, add this as a service? Because all the good valued people, I know ESG implemented people as a consultant working with us, working on various projects. So what is the opportunity available? Is it worth to do it like this way as a consultant way for MSMEs? So that's my question.
So as such, the cost is the biggest challenge for us. So MSMEs work on very thin margins because of high competitiveness, and there are challenges as far as manpower is concerned. So again, we have to balance it. That's I'm not sure it is for the individual owners to answer. For us, as a company, we may be open to a few suggestions, but it again will depend on the cost which will come along with it.
Excuse me. Yeah, I am part of a mission where we do agriculture. Agriculture is also a big polluter. Our farm is near Tiruvallur. We are much organized like a corporate. 115 acres of land, where 60 acres we are doing agriculture, 26 acres rice, vegetables, things like that. We have almost reduced the thing, we're making it almost like a natural. I wouldn't say 100%, at least 1% maybe, but by and large it is natural, and people are vouching for that. What kind of a tool is there to document this? Documentation is a challenge because we don't get the right people to work. We don't attract the right talent to work in agriculture, Is there any tool by which we can document what we do?
It's not like there is specific something for agriculture, because ESG itself is an emerging field. There are general tools, as I said, like Parivartan. So you can report in that, because the questionnaire which happens in it, it will be common for all the sectors.
Okay.
So it's about the data what you collect.
All right. Okay, so the Parivartan is the platform where...
Yeah, it's by CIBISA.
Okay.
So you can try it. There are other AI tools also.
Okay.
So you can just, you can even prepare your own data sheet.
Oh,
the data which you collect is important. The frameworks are readily available, like GRI,
All right, okay.
Sustainable Accounting Standards Board framework. Those frameworks are available, which are easier compared to BRSR, I hope. So, and they are even linked to that sustainable SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, by UNDP. The data is a problem. So once you have the data, then reporting frameworks will not be a problem.
So collecting the data is the question.
Yeah.
Okay, I invite you to all our farm.
Sure,
it's in Tiruvallur.
So I am an independent director on the board of General Renewable Energy. Hello? Excuse me? I am an independent director of the General Renewable Energy. Madam may be aware that we were not in that field some 5 years ago. So as Mr. Nandakumar was asking, what is the benefit you derived? In the last 4 years, the total benefit is more than 1,000 crores. We were able to show a better profit. And so, as you are also mentioning, the large groups, why it is compulsory for MSMEs, almost mandatory. So when Mr. Hansraj Vermaji was the chairman of TIC, he introduced massive reforms because I was earlier with SIDBI. So I know how the TIC is functioning, I was aware. So he introduced that credit guarantee scheme also, extended it to the state level also, so that it's not the credit guarantee trust for MSMEs operated by SIDBI. It's also at the state level. And the interest invention scheme, Vermaji made it very clear, 3% reduction. So many MSMEs took advantage, and as our Girish was mentioning, that because of that, the ESG, once again, Tamil Nadu is in the number 1 position in MSME development. This I wanted to just share my thoughts. Thank you so much.
One thing I would like to add, when you compared India with China and the US, we are looking at a scenario where China has already started dark factories, where you don't have human beings in the factory. It's all automated. You have robots linked with IoT and AI. Power is saved, everything is saved. Human beings are not there. Everything is programmed remotely, and it is happening 24/7. Production is happening. It is still running. It is happening in China. We are at a stage where we have to catch up very fast. It is.
Yeah, thanks. And just to summarize and to clarify a few points, as far as the forestation program, forestation, when it is done, is also eligible for carbon credits, and the mangrove forests which are growing in the saline water, eligible for blue credits, which is around $25 to $30 of money in terms of money value. So any tree which is grown is eligible for credit, but only thing is you got to have, as Sudhya was telling, like documentation is absolutely important to prove you that you don't cut it. It is available over a period of years. Then it is eligible for carbon credit. So the forestation program can earn you credit also. So end of it, what I would like to say is that we are doing a lot of initiations and as well as kind of activities towards the ESG, whether we liked it or not, or whether it's in our blood, in our gene. We are doing it over a period of decades. But we all have to collectively come around and look at how to kind of channelize and monetize that, so that whatever in terms of the government of India is looking at bringing in 2 credits. One is a green credit, another is a general carbon credit. So they wanted to bring everything. The discussions are on. So probably we can look at the industrial associations or a group of clusters can look at how to monetize whatever the initiatives we are taking, and then this monetized, the value can be shared among the people. That may not compensate for all the ESG efforts, but it can to a smaller extent. And similarly, a kind of a special interest group can be initiated for spearheading the ESG implementation in MSMEs, and also another special interest group on in implementing the ESG in MSMEs. This probably can come out with certain tools. Why not that tool tomorrow can become something like OpenAI's or a DeepSeek's kind of a product also, it can come out. So why don't we also try that as a kind of a suggestion out of our discussions. So with that, I thank everybody for patient listening. I wrap up this session. Thank you very much, panelists. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my dear moderator, because I always love hearing your concluding remarks, sir. Thank you very much. And I would also request the speakers and moderator to stay back. So I would request our moderator to present the token of appreciation to our speakers. So first, I would like to welcome Shri M. Nandakumar, sir, to felicitate Shri D. Uday Kumar, sir, the Managing Director, Shakti Laser Technology. And next, I would like to request the moderator to felicitate Shri V.K. Girish Pandian, the President, the Industrial Estate Manufacturers Association. And I would request Sir to do the honors too. Shri Abhishek Bharadwaj, the Senior Program Associate, Energy, WRI India. Thank you very much, sir. And to Srimati Divya Uday Kumar, UTM Strategic Advisors. Thank you very much, ma'am. And may now request Shri Hansraj Verma, our IAS, retired IAS, the Director General, COSI-DC, to present the felicitation or to present the memento to our moderator, Shri M. Nandakumar, sir. Thank you very much, sir. So please, they're on the stage, sir. We request you to take the stage. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. I would request everyone to share a group picture, sir. Please join us with the group picture, sir. Hansraj, sir, please. Discussion, the panel discussion was seriously very interactive and we got a lot of insights indeed. Thank you very much to the moderator and the speakers. Of course, you can give a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. We have come to the final ending note of this beautiful evening, and for which I would like to welcome the head of FICCI Tamil Nadu State Council, Shri R. Sudarshan sir, to deliver the vote of thanks. Welcome, sir.
Good evening to everyone. I'm Sudarshan. I'm heading the FICCI Tamil Nadu State Council. First, I sincerely thanks to Shri Ansaraj Verma sir, Director General of COCDC and Chairman of FICCI Limited. Thank you, sir, for your insightful inaugural address and for setting the context today discussion. Thank you, sir. Have truly inspired us to embrace sustainable practice in the MSME sector. This is our second program we are organizing in Chennai. First program we did it in Kerala under the team of FICCI Center for Sustainable Leadership, with supporting the founding members of HUL and HSBC. And also, my heartfelt thanks to our moderator, Mr. Nandakumar, convener of FICCI Energy Panel, and also is the managing director of Nanwind Energy, for steering the panel discussion so effectively. And also, I'd like to thank all the esteemed panelists, Mr. Uday Kumar, Mr. Girish Pandian. Short notice, he accepted as our esteemed panelist. And also, I thank Mr. Abhishek Bharadraj, and also, actually, unfortunately, we couldn't able to get participation from FAME-TN. Thanks to all the panelists who have made this session truly enriching and thought-provoking. And also, I'd like to thank Ms. Divya from a team of Mr. Ansaraj Verma sir for getting the confirmation for all the speakers from the industries. Thanks, ma'am. I would like to extend my my gratitude to our chairman, Dr. G.S.K. Velu, and also co-chairman, Mr. Bhupesh Nagarajan, for their continuous support and leadership in making this event program a reality. Last but certainly not least, I thank all the attendees for their active participation and engagement. Thank you. All your presence and enthusiasm reflect the collective commitment to adopting sustainable business practices. Thank you once again to all for a pleasant evening and a productive networking session. Thank you. Please join the ITA outside.
Thank you very much, sir. So with this, the awareness program on ESG and sustainable business practices for MSMEs is coming to an end. So we'll meet you on the next session or the next year probably. So even before that, we are planning for a few more events from FICCI. So thanks. And also we would like to extend our gratitude on behalf of FICCI, the Center for Sustainability Leadership, and supported by COCDC and TANSIA. Thank you very much, dear ladies and gentlemen. Please join us for the networking high tea. This is Anchor Nandini Arvindan signing off. Nandri, Vanakkam, Varga Valamudan, and Jai Hind.